If the tree should ignorantly and greedily hold on to this year's leaves when they've served their purpose, where would the full and beautiful new life that will be put forth in the spring? Gradual decay and finally death would be the result. If the tree is already dead, then it may perhaps be well enough for it to cling to the old, for no new leaves will come. But as long as the life in the tree is active, it is necessary that it rid itself of the old ones, that room may be made for the new. Let's take these words into our hearts and contemplate them for a moment. And how easy it is on this beautiful, beautiful spring day to realize the truth of those words. To just be refreshed and renewed with all of the beautiful life that we see taking form all around us. We see God in all of nature, knowing that it is creating the new vigorously, vibrantly, beautifully, harmoniously. We just see that experience of life taking form. And as we do, we know that that same process is eternally taking form within our own spirit. That we are forever renewed and refreshed. And as we give up the old that is no longer useful to us, and we claim that which is beautiful, that which is growing, that which is full of life in our own lives, we again rejoice, knowing that it is spirit fulfilling itself. And this morning we know that this is happening right here as this community. It is fulfilling itself. We are coming together with all that we have of beauty and harmony and love and all that we know, our highest good, and we're sharing it with each other. And we're going away from this place vigorous and new and full of life and beauty and harmony, and knowing that it is spreading throughout the world according to its own nature. And for this, I simply say thank you, God. Thank you, Infinite Spirit. Thank you, all that is. And so it is.
Oh, thank you, Marge. We are prayed in now, aren't we? So today's topic is the only thou shalt not in our series of new commandments for a new era. Thou shalt not fear the darkness. I couldn't figure out how to say it without saying not, so there you go. We here at Centers for Spiritual Living teach a philosophy of wholeness, of integrating all of the parts of this adventure of being a spiritual being in human form and walking through human existence. And one of the parts we seem to be the most resistant to even look at, let alone integrate, is that darkness. And darkness is essential to wholeness. There is, it's like the yin-yang symbol reminds us that there's dark and light, and in the dark there is a glimmer of light, and in the light there's a glimmer of dark. it is necessary for us to be able to integrate the dark things that we experience in life. And when we forget that, it causes us problems, I think, because we grow up avoiding anything that's dark in life and in ourselves as well. We just keep pushing it away. And when we keep pushing it away, of course, what happens is it gains strength. Because every time we push it into the hidden recesses of our psyche, we give it strength. And so it gets darker and thicker and more repressed. And it doesn't go away. It just operates on a subconscious level in ways that we aren't aware of. Like that. Carl Jung called this the shadow, this repressed stuff. He called it the shadow, and he said, everyone carries a shadow. And the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. And as a culture, we avoid darkness as well. La la la, I see nothing, right? We have a collective way of suppressing our collective darkness. And just like our individual darkness, it doesn't go away. It just continues to play itself out through our society in all sorts of ways. We try to find ways to deny it and repress it and pretend it's not in us. So our cultural shadow in some places is darker and denser, at least in my feeling, than it has been before as well. Because it's only when we acknowledge that the darkness exists in ourselves and our culture that we can change it, that we can make it conscious. You know, darkness doesn't disappear, but when we acknowledge its existence, then our light begins to illuminate it, and then it disappears. The interesting thing about the darkness is that that's where deep change happens too. The best illustration for that, of course, is the seed. A seed won't crack open and send down roots and send up shoots until it's in the darkness of the soil. And our founder, Ernest Holmes, explained change like this. Change our thinking, change our life. We see a condition in our lives that we don't like, that isn't productive. We change our conscious thoughts, and the conscious thoughts are the ones that happen in the light of awareness. And our thoughts act upon the substance of our lives in the darkness, outside the light of our awareness, to create a new condition. That's where the change happens, we let it go and let the law and the universe take care of it. But Holmes also taught us something else. He said our subjective mind, which is the place where it's the residence of the shadow, the subjective or the unconscious mind, can cancel out our brightest conscious wish if we don't know what it's doing and unless we're willing to work to change it. You can affirm and pray and have a wonderful, wonderful picture in your mind of what it is you want, and as you turn away, you can let that voice come up in you that says, that's never going to happen, and cancel it right out. And that is a voice from the darkness. It's sometimes only when we stop and acknowledge and realize that there's something in the darkness we need to get to know, and let ourselves, despite of the fear, venture into the darkness and bring its contents up into the light, that we can change our unconscious patterning of a lifetime. So avoiding all darkness is counterproductive, but we sure seem to try to do it. And here's what I know. The only way to get beyond the fear of the darkness is to walk through the darkness. And the only way to get beyond those things that are blocking our unfolding is to walk through the darkness. I was recently at a workshop in Santa Barbara, and I found a lovely poem I want to share with you in the materials. It's called Old Maps No Longer Work by Joyce Rupp. I keep pulling it out, the old map of my inner path. I squint closely at it, trying to see some hidden road that maybe I've missed. But there's nothing there now except some well-traveled paths. They've seen my footsteps often, held my laughter, caught my tears. I keep going over the old map, but now the roads lead nowhere. A meaningless wilderness where life is dull and futile. Toss Toss away the old map, she says. You must be kidding, I reply. She looks at me with Sarah eyes and repeats, toss it away. It's of no use where you're going. I have to have a map, I cry. Even if it takes me nowhere, I can't be without direction. But you are without direction, she says. So why not let it go? Be free. So there I am, tossing away the old map, sadly, fearfully putting it behind me. Whatever will I do, wails my security. Trust me, says my midlife soul. No map, no specific directions, no this way ahead or take a left. How will I know where to go? How will I find my way? No map. But then my midlife soul whispers, there was a time before maps when pilgrims traveled by the stars. It is time for the pilgrim and me to travel in the dark, to learn to read the stars that shine in my soul. I will walk deeper into the dark of my night. I will wait for the stars, trust their guidance, and let their light be enough for me. Did you hear how bad she wanted to hold on to that old map? I can't be without direction. It's so hard to let those old ways of being go. But until we let go of them, we can't grow. We can't move forward. We can't find the new path that our soul's light is leading us to. And there comes a time in our life when we're all faced with that choice. Either enter the darkness willingly and find a new pathway, or once again turn away and go back into the dullness, the fragmentation, the frustration and the lost dreams and the even denser darkness that we've already been through over and over again. And maybe it's time for you. Maybe it's time for you. Maybe you going through something big, a grief or a loss or a change in circumstance, or maybe you just have divine discontent. Divine discontent is that little tiny poking, whispering, something's not right here. Something doesn't feel like it's going the way I want it to go. Maybe it's time to throw away your old map and trust the new path. Maybe it's time to really let go of all those things in the subconscious mind that are holding you back. The problem with the subconscious is it's subconscious. So how do we know what to let go of, right? How do we figure that out? How do we know what to let go of? You have to start paying attention, I think, to the glimmers in the dark, the whisperings of the unconscious. And of course, sometimes the unconscious just hollers. Those are the easy ones. One of the loudest for me, and I think for most of us, is the emotional reaction to what's happening out there. The biggest things we need to acknowledge in here, in the depths of ourselves, usually write themselves really large in our lives. So when we start to notice the things we have strong, particularly strong negative reactions to in other people, in other situations, what we don't like out there is a straight line to what we have to accept in here. I could almost hear a little collective groan, but it's really pretty cool. It's really pretty cool. It's a gift to us that look out and see what's working your last nerve, then you will know that you have to look inward to find where it lies in you. It's pretty cool, actually. Sometimes it's really difficult, but it's a gift. I read a story the other day about a man who was at a seminar really doing some deep work. And he called the facilitator over at a break and said, there's one person here I cannot stand. He's a wimp, and I hate wimps. And she invited him to go further with that. Look a little deeper. And he told her a story. He said, when I was 5, my dad wanted me to go on a pony ride. And the pony was so big and I was so small, I was really scared. And so This happens to a lot of us. His dad, like, publicly shamed him and yelled, "What kind of man are you going to grow up to be? You're a wimp. You're an embarrassment to the whole family." So for the next 30 years, this man had a dislike of wimps, all the while unaware of his inner wimp. You know? The part of him that his father, the part of him that got hidden away because his father shamed him. And he had to start looking not only at this man across the way that looked like a wimp, but was really a reflection of his own shame. And he also had to start thinking about the times the inner wimp had protected him. Like the time his friends wanted to go out drinking, and they went out drinking, and they wanted to go somewhere more and drink some more. And he said, "I don't want to be driving in this condition." And his friends wrecked the car, and one of them died, and 3 of them wound up in the hospital. He hadn't gone with them because of his inner wimp. That, you know, if you start to look at it, you'll find all sorts of times that that thing in you that you don't like has actually served you. Here's an exercise you might want to try. Kind of gave me the shudders when I first thought about it, but then I worked through it. It was good. Imagine that the newspaper's about to publish a front page article about you. What are 5 things you really don't want to show up in that article? And what are 5 things that you would be okay with? So you have 2 sets of 5 things, and they are equally true about you, yes? Yes. They're equally true. The 5 you don't want to show up in the article, and the 5 that you wouldn't mind are equally true. So if you look at the 5 you don't want to show up and see what judgments you have around them and where that thread, that path leads straight into you, and then look for a new interpretation of those things. Like this guy found a way to honor that within him which had protected him throughout his life. I'll tell you a secret. That which lives in our darkness can only hurt us if we keep it there, if we keep it down. Every inner demon we bring out into the light loses its power. It loses its power. It becomes visible to us, and thus it becomes impotent, powerless. Everything we see and integrate adds to our own power and loses power over us. That is absolutely the truth. So the invitation is to look out there and see what's out there. But it's not just other people I'm talking about. It's how we react to our world. It's how we react to the death of Freddie Gray in Baltimore, how we react to the charges being filed against the policemen, how we react to the rioters, how we react to the demonstrators. If you have a strong reaction to any part of that, look deeper. Look deeper. I am coming to understand that until quite recently in my life, and I'm not proud of this, quite recently in my life I have been completely unaware of how deeply different my life experience is than that of a person of color. It's totally different. A person born into poverty, a person living in a place like Freddie Gray's neighborhood, I have no clue what it's like. And I'm starting to understand that the things that I take for granted, many people will never have a chance to experience. And it's not out of anything I did. It's out of the parents, because of the parents I was born into. And the neighborhood I live in. I have to look deeply into that and see that whenever I have a reaction, like, why are they burning down their own neighborhood? Do they think that's going to help? I have to look deeper. And I have to step out of my own stuff and try and understand what somebody living in that neighborhood. Do you know, I just read this recently, that the United States now has the lowest rate of people able to step out of poverty of any developed country? And do you know that Dayton has one of the lowest rates in this country of people being able to step out of poverty? So I stop and think about what would it be like to have years and decades and centuries even of anger and frustration and hopelessness built up in me, I might want to burn something down too. So what I'm saying is I can't leap to judgment. I have to look inside myself and find the shadow in me, the shadow of fear, of prejudice, of shame, of whatever it is that makes me leap to judgment about what somebody else does. And then I have to look even deeper than that. I have to look even deeper until I can identify all the lack of understanding in me, all the lack of empathy and compassion in me, the unwillingness to give up something I have to help someone else. I have to bring all of that up into the light. I have to look at how it might have helped me in the past to feel that way, but this midlife soul of mine is pushing me into a place where I don't want to carry that stuff around in the dark anymore. I want it to be conscious, because once it's conscious, we are at choice about it. Once we bring it up into the light and that little demon sort of deflates and becomes part of who we are, we get to make a choice. How am I going to act here? What am I going to do here? Well, how am I going to be in the world so that maybe I can do something to assist people to get where they want to go, to be who they want to be, to live the life they want to live, to be free and full and happy and joyful. That's what my midlife soul is talking to me about these days. Here's another secret. There really isn't anything scary in the darkness. There really isn't. It's when we're in dark that we get to see the glimmers of light from our own souls. When we're in the dark, we have to chart a course by those glimmers because it's too dark to read a map, right? So we have to be able to look for those glimmers of soul light and let them lead us on a new course. And when we do that, we find ourselves always in a place of greater consciousness, a place of greater love, a place of greater wholeness and integration, a place of greater peace, and a willingness to really be a force for good in the world, more than we've ever been before. So I think it's time for us to think seriously about letting go of the maps, being willing to walk in the darkness, chart a course by the stars, learn to really read that deep light that's in every one of us, so that we really get to that place of freedom, of conscious choice about who we are, how we are, and what we do in the world. And maybe it's time to do that right now. Maybe it's time to really be willing, fear or no fear, to walk into the darkness and be led. So let's pray together. Join me, if you will, in conscious awareness as we unite, knowing there's only one of us anyway, knowing that there's only one life, only one mind, only one power and presence that goes by a million names, yet is unceasingly itself. It is unceasingly power and light and dark and love and goodness and joy and plenty and ease and grace. It is God. It is Spirit. It is the universal intelligence that has created everything that exists and lives in all of its creation. So that right where I am, right where each one of us is, that divine life exists in all of its power and love and joy and beauty and wellness and wholeness and courage. So right where we are, God is. And knowing that, I know that each one of us walks into whatever darkness is beckoning, whether it is the change wrought by something big in our lives, or whether it is the whispers of our midlife souls calling us into something more. We willingly drop our maps, walk forward, trust the light of our own souls, and know that the path appears before us. With grace and with ease, we walk it. And collectively, we put away our maps and rely on the love that is in this place, in this community, that is calling us forward to be more in this community and in this world, to collectively shine such a bright light that all darkness is banished. The light of consciousness, the light of love, the light of joy, the light of hope, the light of compassion. And knowing this is the truth of who we are, I give great thanks. I give thanks for this community of courageous, amazing people who walk through life always willing to say yes to it. I give thanks for the fact that we are able to come together to love each other, to support each other, to shine the light of love, to reflect it back to each other. I give thanks for this day, brand new baby day, full of promise. I give thanks for life itself, and from this place of deep gratitude, I release these words into the infinite law that always says yes, knowing they're already so. And we say together, and so it is.
Just a thread, a simple thread in this glorious web of life. We are all just drops within a stream flowing towards an ocean of light. We may forget where we come from, we may forget where we're going to. I might not see that you're a reflection of me as much as I'm a reflection of you. I am just a seed, a blessed seed with eternity unfolding in me, and I pray that as I grow, I will reveal the love that illuminates my soul. When I remember where I come from, when I remember where I'm going to, then I will see that you're a reflection of me as much as I'm a reflection of you. Simple prayer, may I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer, may I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer, may I become a reflection of the infinite one. This is my simple prayer, may I become a reflection of the infinite one.
Amen. So let's take a moment to just stop and think about our blessings. We have an opportunity now to give in support of the work of this community, but also a moment just to stop and realize how absolutely blessed we are, and to let ourselves be filled with gratitude. Gratitude is the attitude that makes welcome our good. So just say yes to it. Let yourself feel the gratitude that is rising up in you as you stop just to realize how blessed you are. And whether you give today or whether you're able to give or not, as the basket passes through your hands, just quickly bless the abundance of this community so that we can continue to grow and do what we came here to do. And so let us affirm together, gratefully I give with an attitude of abundance.
Gratefully I give with an attitude of abundance.
I know that as I give, so do I receive.
I know that as I give, so do I receive.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Let's see, I have a few quick announcements, and then the kids will be here eventually. First of all, I have some certificates for Foundations class that I would like to present, and I would like to have these people come up here if they are here. I don't think Kai is here today. She's probably off with her son and their soccer games. Nanette Brawley. Angie Smith. She's here. Lisa Schreiber. Where is Lisa? Somewhere I have another one here for Carol. Here it is. Carol Huseman. So we have two out of 5 here, 2 out of 6. There's yours. Did you love the class?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Would you recommend that everyone take it?
To everyone take it.
Every single person. It's a great class. It was a wonderful group of women. We were like off the charts. And so we'll get these other ones passed out when soccer season ends, I think. We really had a good time in that class, and we're gearing up for the next one after summer. We're taking the summer off. So in 2 weeks from yesterday, it is our really big yard sale. This is your chance. If you have stuff in your house that you want to get rid of, you can set up a space out on the grass. We'll leave the parking lot for all of the shoppers. It's $20 to reserve an 8x8 space. We have a few tables that are available for, I don't know, I think it's $5 or $10 more. And you can sell all your stuff, and we do all the advertising, and we'll also have food and drinks. We're also asking for a donation of, I can't remember the percent, 25% of your sales to cover the costs of advertising and all of that. But clear out your closets. This is a great time to just clear out for spring, get down to what you really love, and get rid of all that stuff you're dragging around with you. I know that I have an enormous amount of stuff I'm dragging around, and I've been going through it a little bit every day. It's kind of scary to see what a pack rat I truly am. There's a shadow. I have a shadow hoarder. I do. The forms to fill out for table space are over on the table. If you will sign up by May 10th, that would be very helpful to us. And then we're going to start doing we've already started leafleting in the neighborhood, and we're going to have signs out and out in the newspaper and all of that kind of stuff. Just a quick announcement, the social committee and the Consciousness Cafe team will have a brief meeting today to finalize picnic plans in the community room all the way in the back, 12:15. On May 9th, there's a committee put together that would love your help in cleaning up our grounds. Bring your hand tools and come and spend a couple of hours sprucing up around here, trimming and planting and stuff like that. If you have any plants that you would like to donate, we would be more than happy to put them in the ground for you here. You can contact Teresa Napke about that if you have any questions. It is time once again for our annual fun, F-U-N, raiser, Cooking with God. This is a great time. It's a great way to meet people in the community and get to know them. Here's the basic rundown on it. You create an event that involves food and fun, and you decide how many people you want to have, what's your maximum, and pick a date and come up with a title. And we have like an auction. We put a catalog together and people bid on the events that they want to come to. The money comes back to the center. The people show up to your event. So we raise some cash for the center, but more than that, we raise community. It's always a fabulous, these events are so fun. Let's see, we had a canoe trip down Stillwater, followed by several several themed dinners at the Tow's house. The first one, all the food was canoe-shaped. It was incredible. We had so much fun. That's awesome. We've done, at my house, we walked the labyrinth and then ate Thai food. We've done, I mean, all manner of things. Whatever it is that we've had chocolate and channeling. We've had, beer tasting. We've had all sorts of things. So come up with something that you think would sound fun. And turn in this little slip with your title and description and things like that. And pretty soon we'll put the catalog together. We need to have your events submitted by May 17th, which is a Monday, so we can put our bidding catalog together. It's a lot of fun, so join in. On the back of your bulletin there is something that says, mark your calendars. And it is full, so please take a look at it and see if there's anything there that you need to know about. There's a lot to look forward to around here all the time. Let's see, I think those were all of my announcements. Oh yes, there's a Mother's Day basket being raffled. It's got a whole bunch of goodies in it, and it'll be over on the table for you to look at, and that's where you can also get your, you can also buy your ticket, raffle tickets, over on the table.
We're drawing next Sunday, Mother's Day.
Oh, next Sunday, Mother's Day is the drawing. If there's anything at all in your life that you would like prayer support for, something you're having a hard time seeing through, or just you're loving life and you want more of it, just ask one of the people in the blue or teal or white prayer shawls for prayer after the service. They're all our licensed prayer practitioners, and they have done a whole lot of work and are very good at just seeing through to the truth of who you are. So all you have to do is walk up to one of them and say, I'd like prayer, and they will give you the gift of a 1-minute miracle here on Sunday. You can also leave a written prayer request in the chest back there underneath that round painting. So that's it for today. The kids are all outside making painty messes, I'm sure, painting a wonderful infinity symbol. So let's stand and do our closing affirmation, and after that, our closing song, A Light in the World. But first, let's say together, the wholeness of the universe is seeking expression through me.
The wholeness of the universe is seeking expression through me.
Its nature is goodness.
Its nature is goodness.
Truth. Beauty. And wisdom. I allow it to shine through me. Today and always. And so it is. Have a fabulous week.